Hey guys, I'm Jacqueline.
And I'm Ursula.
And today we are here to talk to you guys about the show You on Netflix.
We recently binged this show.
Yeah, we didn't do reactions. We literally just
we didn't do reactions. It's a really easy and fun show to binge. It's only 10 episodes. And if you don't know anything about this, I actually really didn't know much going into it. I just knew you were watching it and you were like, oh, watch this, it's really, really good.
Yeah, it's so good. It's based off a book, and I have the book. I just haven't read it yet, but my sister had recently binged it, and she was like, you have to watch this. Like, I'll watch the first few episodes with you again. And she literally ended up watching the entire show again with me because she just was that, like, we were so into it. We were so invested. We watched this in like 2 sittings and it was awesome.
You don't know what it's about. Basically,
it's with Penn Badgley from Gossip Girl.
Yeah.
And he's basically like,
he's obsessed with this girl. And it's interesting because the show, and I know the books as well, you had said that it's told in second person.
Yeah.
Basically, he's saying you constantly. Like, he's talking to her.
Yeah, so Penn Badgley's narrating it. And he plays a character named Joe. And him and this girl, Beck, they meet at a bookstore. And they kind of go through like a relationship. But, Joe is basically like
crazy,
obsessed to the point where he stalks her. He creepily finds her like on social media, and then
it goes from there. We don't want to tell you too much about what like
it just
the events that follow that, but yeah, it does build
and build.
It gets creepier as the episodes go along, and it's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's a lot of fun to watch though, and a lot of the episodes have a cliffhanger, and you just have to keep going to see what's gonna happen next.
It's very addicting.
It is addicting, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just so fascinating to see this relationship with somebody who is just like a psychopath. Like, he is crazy, but it's interesting so in the way. It is twisted because I feel like I liked him as a character. Him as a character
for a good portion of the beginning of the season. Yeah, so it's interesting in that way. We don't want to tell you too like much if you haven't watched it, but
and the relationship is really good to watch as well because it's so bad but it's so good, like the entire show. It's awesome. We really enjoyed the show, and now I think we want to talk about some more spoilers and things that actually happen. But if you have not watched it, we definitely recommend just go and binge it, and then you can come back and we'll talk to you guys all about the craziness of that show.
Definitely. So go watch it, and now we're gonna talk about some spoilers.
So Joe, I actually, like, okay, so the beginning with him stalking, it's not that bad because, like, everybody stalks everybody on social media.
Exactly.
Like,
I didn't think it was bad at all when he was, like, looking up her social media because, like, I think everybody's done that where, like, you meet somebody, you think oh, this could go somewhere, and you look them up on social media, and that's normal. Like, everybody looks everybody up on social media.
Yeah.
So, like, and that wasn't weird.
And it makes you so conscious of what you put out there, like how much of your life is out there. Like, people can literally find you like at any time, and it's so crazy how much people can tell from your social media. Like, he was able to figure out her whole schedule, her entire schedule, social media, all of her friends. Like, it's just so. It's so, like, crazy, and it honestly makes me so, like, self-conscious now about, like, social media in some ways. Like, it just makes you think, like, oh my god, like, be careful, like, make sure everything is set to private, you know? Like, you never know who's really out there that can find out all this information about you, and then he starts to actually stalk her, like, in person.
Yeah, so I didn't think it was weird up until the point where, I didn't think it was bad until he killed Benji. No, I thought it was, I kind of got the feeling that he was gonna get really bad when
he goes in her house.
Like, once he started following her, like, there's one thing to, like, to look up people on social media, but to figure out their schedule
go there
and to follow them around and, like, go to her house. And, like, once he, like, took her underwear, it was like, this guy's psycho, so this is where we're going with that.
Yeah, but it was so twisted because, like,
because they were cute. They had cute moments.
I like some of their moments together. Yeah. Like, it was bad. Like, every time he'd be, like, outside of her apartment, and it'd be like, please get curtains. Like, why do you not have curtains in a New York City apartment? Please have curtains. Curtains are so important. Like, please get, like, thick black curtains over your windows.
He was so good, like, in the way where, like, there was a couple times where he would slip up and he would, like, I think he had mentioned something about when they were, like, bed shopping, and she was like, oh, he was like, oh, that's not gonna fit in your apartment. And she was like, how do you know? And he was like,
it's New York.
It was like a pause, and it was like, it's New York. Nobody could have like have that bed in their apartment. And it was like, he just was so calm in that way, where like he was able to like manipulate her.
I think one of the things that was really interesting about Joe as a character was the flashbacks that we would get, and how he had a really messed up childhood.
I knew from the beginning, as soon as we saw that box with like the books in it, the cage with the books, I'm like, how many people are gonna be in there? Like, so, like people are getting locked up in there, and I knew he was gonna kill somebody in there, and it was Benji. But it was sad though to see those flashbacks, because his mind was warped by this man who was like telling him that like it was for his own good that he was locked in there, and that he was doing it for him. And it was just really, really like disturbing, his childhood, like growing up in the like working at the bookstore and being locked in there and being like taught really like strange things by this man. And like I mean, he read a lot of great books, but that's just like weird. It's just like obviously those wacky that he was locked in there.
Obviously, like those types of things though, they mess with your head, and you could tell because of the type of person that he unfortunately like he turned out to be. Like, he's just like messed up in the head the whole time.
And she, as a character, let's be real, she was
so
clueless.
Annoying.
She was clueless, like absolutely clueless.
She was so frustrating.
She didn't see, like, I feel like she let her friends control her. Especially Peach. She let her control her, and she really just.
It was just inevitable where this was going.
What was going on?
And it was just inevitable, honestly. But it was just crazy, because I felt like not only was it Beck being manipulated the entire time, I felt like we as viewers were also being manipulated the entire time. Like, watching it, I was just like, why are they cute? Like, I don't want to like this relationship, because you know what he's doing, and it's just so bad. But it's just so twisted, because like everything that he was doing, in some ways he was doing it for her. Like, that guy Benji was no good, but he didn't have to kill him. Like, it was just so bad.
Exactly.
It was so bad. But
like, I didn't care. Like, Benji, like, he was a bad guy anyway.
He was
so
a bad
like
guy.
When he went, it was whatever.
But then Peach,
when Peach went, she was annoying.
Friend.
She was annoying though, because of what she was doing. Like, she wasn't a good person. She was obsessed with her.
Beck.
She was obsessed with Beck, and she was just trying to control her life and like use her, and she was a bad person too. So it was like, I mean, she didn't deserve to die, because she was the one who actually was on to him.
She was on to him the whole time. And I actually thought Peach was like, every time I'd be watching it, Anna Maria would ask me, she'd be like, what do you think of Peach? What do you think of Peach? And I'd be like, oh, like, she seems like a good friend. And then you just realize, like, why? Like, she's so insane, but she wasn't as insane as like him. Like, I feel like,
well, she wasn't a murderer.
Exactly. Like, she was just obsessed with her, you know? And I think that Peach had,
she wasn't comfortable with who she was. That was the problem.
I think that like, she had a lot of internal issues.
I did feel bad for her in some way, and I mean, I think that she was definitely an interesting character.
But I didn't like her.
But once she died, I wasn't like heartbroken over her death.
No.
And it's like, so it's like, though, like we killed them, and it's like, I understood where you're coming from, like, you're crazy, but I know why you did it, like, in your twisted mind, where you came up with that idea.
it
And so,
was really bad.
And then he always had Paco's back. Paco, loved Paco, always had his back. And so he kills the guy who was like
the bad guy,
Ron, who was beating Paco's mom.
Which is really interesting, because Ron was a parole officer, so I think he was a parole officer, right?
So retired, I believe.
But he was still, like, every time he would see Joe, he'd be like, I know your type, I know you, I could tell there's something off with you. So it's like, it's crazy, because like, that's like a really bad guy. But he knew that there was something going on with Joe, and he was right in that sense. Like, it's just crazy. Like, he's a bad guy, but he had a point. And even Peach, like, she had her own issues, but she was also onto Joe as well.
The only one who wasn't onto Joe was Beck.
And you know what was crazy is the later half of the season, I got so frustrated with Beck. I thought she was so annoying, and when she was cheating on him the entire time with her fucking therapist, I was so angry. I was so annoyed.
I know, there was no, like, Emma Fox or whatever. She lied to him, like, the whole time. So, that was...
but again, like, you would think that she would know that there was something going on, because she's in the park, and then she literally catches him following her. And
that was what was like. I feel like it got to a point where she should have known something
like, there
was off
something
about
weird
him.
about this now. Yeah.
Yeah, and she didn't catch on to it at all.
Yeah.
She really didn't. And yeah, like he literally was following her, and she realized like, you're following me, and she still didn't like, it didn't click in her mind that like that's not normal.
And the whole thing with Candace, how there's like this ex-girlfriend, we find out very early on in the season that there's this ex that he has, and we don't like know too much about her, and then there's literally an episode where we do find out like a lot of their history, what happened with Candace, and we see that it had that same obsession to it, and this is what he does. He just gets like obsessed with people to the point where it's awful and it's just really uncomfortable. And the whole thing with Candace, like he had like the producer, and then the producer or like the musician or whatever, the artist that was signing,
and apparently she was having an affair with him, and he was like, oh, I didn't know she was in a relationship, and then he literally pushes that guy off the building. Yeah, so that was insane.
That was crazy.
He gets to the point where he's like so like mentally like not there, where he was like seeing Candace.
Yes,
and
she's
it was messing with his mind in that way.
She haunts him in that way. But then we find out that like the entire time she was alive at the end, but we'll get to that later. And then eventually, like,
it was so
that
frustrating.
box everybody ended up in, she did.
What was so frustrating was that when she finds the box, of course Paco is like, oh, like I hid the book in like the bathroom tile on the ceiling, and it's like, Paco, really? Dear Paco, you don't know what you've done, Paco. So of course she goes and looks in the ceiling, and instead of like playing it cool and like cleaning up the mess completely and making sure that you didn't leave, like making sure you didn't leave the teeth or anything, she like doesn't like leaves the ceiling like half off. Like the teeth are like some of them are left on the floor with the glass, and like she just like looked like she was frazzled when she got out of there. Like she wasn't good at like keeping cool to like get out of that situation.
But it's so frustrating because she had the upper hand. Like you literally had something on him. Now you just need to get out.
She just needed to get out and tell somebody, and she would have been fine.
And
but of course she couldn't like.
She couldn't. He knew that there was something off immediately, and then once he sees that she didn't properly like close the tile.
Well, no. Once he realized that she saw the box,
and
that was it. She was knocked out in the glass case with the books, and we knew that was where that was gonna go.
Yeah.
But it was so crazy because I feel like even when he first puts her in there, he has in his head that they could still get past this.
And his mindset.
And she's flipping out because she did not see any of this coming. I don't know how, but she didn't see any of this.
His mindset, he was literally like, we could get through anything if we love each other, no matter what.
He basically was just like, I'm gonna keep you in here until we can figure this out. And it was like so calm and chill. And he's like, I'm not a murderer. Like, I did this all for you. And like, if you understood where I'm coming from, like you would see why I needed to do it. And he was so calm, and he had that mindset. And she like, instead of like I think, well, later on she does try to like kind of trick him to get out of there, but like right away she was like breaking down.
Well, I mean, naturally. Yeah. And I don't think that he would have believed her if she didn't have that breakdown.
That's true. If she was automatically was like trying out.
Yeah, so. she had to have that breakdown in there, and it was just so terrifying. Like, poor Paco. Like, Paco, it's crazy because Paco, like, he's the type of character that is in there, and sees the good in Joe, and like it's his friend. Like, you know, Paco has a really bad life, and
Joe is the only one who is like, there for him.
He's there for him, and he's like the hero in the story because he killed the bad guy, you know, like and all of a sudden now Paco's with his mom, and they went off, and they're probably gonna have like a nice life, you know. And
but that moment,
it's just
that moment when she gets out of there, she stabs him and she tricks him.
Paco watches her, and
Paco just doesn't let her out of that cage, and it's like
he just
my god, this child when he grows up is gonna have such psychological issues with what he's witnessed, and he doesn't even like
he doesn't realize it. Like, it was so crazy, and that was
so intense. So like that moment, it was like, oh my god, is she gonna get out? Is she gonna get out? Like, how is this gonna end? And
when she gets out of like that cage, and then she just flips out on him
because she thinks that she's safe. She thinks that he's locked up, but of course, like. He's been locked up in there before. There's
a spare key in there.
He has another plan,
And there was a key in there, and he was able to get out.
As soon as the camera like pans and you see the empty box and he's not in there anymore, it's like, oh no. Literally, like, it was just like anxiety. It's like, how is this gonna end?
Oh my god, Penn Badgley was so good though. Like, he was crazy.
He was great.
His acting was just incredible.
The acting and like his eyes, like the crazy eyes. It was just Yeah.
It was just unbelievable. And then, yeah, then he goes behind her and then he kills her. And I honestly, I didn't think that he had it in him to actually kill her. I thought that he would really hurt her and put her back in there.
He had to, because
I thought he was going to put her back in there. I didn't think that he would really, like...
Yeah, I kind of thought maybe he would have put her back in there. No, I think that he realized in that moment that
she was never going to...
It was never going to work. Yeah. And I think that he realized, like, if she gets out, he's done for her. Like,
but it's so annoying because she literally wrote his cover story. Like, she wrote all
what's annoying about
therapist. And
she literally set it up for the therapist to be framed where he was gonna be.
And like, okay, the therapist being Uncle Jesse was just like the craziest thing. Like, it's literally Uncle Jesse from Full House, and it was so funny seeing him there. But obviously what he was doing was wrong. Like, he was having a relationship with his patient, but he didn't deserve to be put in jail for that amount of time. Like, he didn't kill anybody.
Well, he got framed for murder.
He got framed for murder. And yeah, and then, Karen escaped this whole entire thing. Like, Karen had a relationship with Joe, and
because
it was like happy-go-lucky, and like,
he wasn't obsessed with her.
No,
that's why.
But it's just crazy because that's one character that, you know, she really had no, like, she kind of...
I think it's kind of funny, though, because it's like, everybody that's like cross paths with Joe is end up dead, except Paco, but like...
Or has known that...
Or has, like, you know, like, most of the characters ended up, like, he ended up having to take care of them and kill them. But then there's Karen, who he's literally in a relationship with, and she just, like, it was so calm, too, that breakup. It was just, like, she was like, okay.
Yeah.
And he was like, all right.
I did like the moment, though, when she goes and talks to Beck, and she tells her, like, you know, good luck with him. Like, good luck. And you could tell that there was, like, an understanding to her in the way, like, she kind of seemed like she understood, like, this guy was insane, but not like I don't think she knew that what he was capable of. But I liked that conversation that they had. I thought it was like she just walked away. Like, Karen literally just wiped her hands clean and was just done with the entire situation, and then Beck and Joe just continued their relationship, and it was just so bad. Like, the whole thing was just doomed.
Yeah, but at the same time, they had cute moments. Like, I loved the moment when he went and he threw the rock at through her window. I loved that moment. And
I even liked when he saved her from the subway.
Yeah, and like, they had like a cute love story going.
When he saved her from the subway, he got her old phone, and that just creeped me out, like, to no levels. Like, when every time you would see him with her old phone and like reading all of her messages, it made me so uncomfortable that he was literally like watching like everything. And then when there was that episode when she had her dad, and she went with her dad, and they kind of made it out to seem like, because she has him in as her phone and like the captain or something, and it made it out to be like, oh my god, like, what is she doing? Is she like a prostitute or something? Like, what is happening here? And then you find out that she actually had a lot of baggage from her family background as well, and he tried to be there for her too. I'm surprised he didn't try to kill the father. So Candace being alive.
I feel like we should have seen it coming. I was a little surprised. I wasn't like shocked. I wasn't like, oh my god, but I was really happy about it, because I mean, once I I think I figured out like a few episodes before the finale that it was going to be a season 2, and I was like,
yeah,
it's like, how are they going to keep that open? Yeah. So like, it made sense. But it was really exciting. Like, when she walked into the bookstore and they're not showing her hoods up, and it's like the same. I love how it came full circle. Like, the voiceover was like the same thing. It was like, oh, you're hiding, but like you're showing your legs, so you want to be noticed. Like, things like, it was like the same dialogue of like when she came into the bookstore, when Beck came into the bookstore, and he's like, okay, I'll bite, and then he walks over to her and she turns around, and it's just like, we have to talk.
And he's like, you're alive. So she knows now that he tried to kill her. And so I'm excited for season 2.
I'm excited to find out what happened, because obviously he did something where he thought she was dead and she ended up not being dead.
Yeah, but I'm excited because now, like, she's probably going to take him down. Like, I'm assuming. She's going to fight back in some ways and try to get him down. But I'm really curious about, where is the pee? Like, he peed in a cup, and that's at Peach's house. Like, why has nobody found that? That is literal DNA that he was in the house when he wasn't supposed to be, even though...
Oh yeah, that's true. I wonder if that storyline's gonna continue into season 2. The detective.
Yeah.
Who was kind of like onto him. I could see him being the first one to die in season 2, because he has to kind of like take care of that quickly. Yeah. So I could see that happening, and then he's gonna probably figure out what to do about Candace. and I think that it's gonna be like him trying to like
maybe
like he's gonna freak out about that because
but I think that private investigator, I think he kind of is he's onto Joe. Like I think when they had that conversation, Joe was stuttering. It didn't go good. I didn't think that conversation.
Yeah, no, yeah. He kind of messed up that conversation. So that's why I think it's gonna carry into next season, and I think he's gonna end up dead. I think he's gonna be the first one dead.
Either that or I think maybe the private investigator, maybe Candace is going to end up going to the private investigator. I think that would be interesting.
I don't know. We're very excited about season 2.
Yeah, we can't wait to see what's going to happen. Yeah. And yeah, let us know what your favorite parts were down in the comments below. Let us know what your favorite character was, what were your favorite moments, and we'd love to talk about that with you.
So if you enjoyed this review, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more reviews. Let us know if you have any recommendations of shows that you want us to watch that we could review for you guys as well.
You can also follow our Twitter and our Snapchat. We are at City of Reveal.
Thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching. Bye!